face it, we are human. We So what is self-awareness, self-reflection, and why are both so important? If you'd like my real raw take on self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-growth, some self-awareness motivation, and keep watching all the way till the end. We've all at one time or another made a complete and utter ass of ourselves, right? I know I have. I've made a monumental ass of myself on many occasions. I think we'd be hard pressed to find many amongst us this doesn't apply. Or we've acted hastily, perhaps lost our cool in a situation we should have practiced self-control. Or something has simply rolled out our mouth like a speeding train only to realize too late what we've said. Self-reflection is a practice of healthy habits. Being mindful of our own thoughts, behaviors, emotions, and decisions. The ability to look back on what we've done or said, should have done or said, with scrutiny in the hopes of learning something from our mistake. Of course, being able to put self-reflection into play in the here and now would be a wiser option. But let's face it, we are human. We fuck up. We act without thinking. We do it. We all do. Most of us then self-reflect later, often with our tail between our legs, determined to make better decisions in the future. Our consciousness creates reality. So idealistically, the best habits to have would be to change your mindset, our mindset, into thinking before we act, before we speak. We all have room for self-improvement and following habits of successful people who would be more strategic before they play their next hand could truly serve us well. The law of attraction often plays a hand because what we put out into the universe will come back around. One way to change your life is to learn from mistakes. Ensuring retrospective self-reflection happens often. Personal growth and development can only come from that capability to self-reflect. But imagine the grievances, the disappointment, the hurt we could avoid by catching our faux pas in the moment. Better still, become so adept at right now self-reflection we don't make them in the first place. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but true self-growth will lead us to cultivating greater capacity for mindfulness. We must make it a habit to think on our feet so we don't shoot ourselves in the ass by talking out our ass without a moment's consideration for the pending ramifications. For every action, there will be a chain reaction. Practice self-awareness, give greater attention to how we act and behave. Becoming more in tune with ourselves, our own thought process, what ultimately makes us tick. Understanding our own triggers, our moods, what sets off our emotions, our stresses. So what are the benefits of self-awareness? How to be more aware, the power of self-awareness. There are a multitude of positives that can be derived from being self-aware. Our conversation skills with others is one very big benefit, because when we lack self-awareness, communicating our wants and needs will be deficiently lesser. But when we have greater understanding of ourselves, what we believe, feel, and want, this most definitely enhances our communication skills with those around us. When we can convey these things proficiently, we will be better in our overall thought process and decision making. We will be stronger and more assertive in our stance because we will have no doubts in our mind for the end goal we are trying to achieve. We will also be more conscious in how we present ourselves in conveying our messages, our wants, our needs, leaving less room for fuck-ups, less room for offending others or treading on toes. When we act sporadically on impulse, we are acting in the moment and our focus is never going to be on the bigger picture, the true outcome, the reaching of agreements or goals. When we run on feelings and let our heart or pride rule our head, it ain't ever gonna take us anywhere good. The importance of self-awareness is being able to differentiate what we give our attention to, what we let permeate beneath our skin, and what we just fob off. How to be self-aware, how to develop self-awareness. For me, it goes back to self-reflection, looking deep within my soul to acknowledge things I'd left somewhere back before, pains and emotions that triggered negative response and mindless reactions. Paying more attention to not only how we react to things, but why we react to things the way We do. We get more on the defensive when we are less self-aware of all the pains or notions we harbor deep within. We think everyone is out to get us or hurt us some way. And like a caged lion, we will pace back and forward with despondency because we are frustrated with them, frustrated with ourselves. When we become more self-aware, we will experience improved moods, feelings, emotions. Often we are in the shittiest, vilest of moods because of how we ourselves have behaved. We are embarrassed, we are enraged at ourselves, so we lash out. If we cannot self-reflect upon our own reactions, we will take it out upon someone else. People with guilty consciences often act irrationally because they don't have clear focus on the benefits that can come from reflecting and growing. None of us are above mistakes. We are all entitled to make them, for this is life. But we are all just as entitled to be bloody accountable for them. We are all grown-ass adults, and nothing or no one but ourselves are responsible for how we act or react. What anyone has done to us is their karma, but how we react bloody well makes it ours. When we can look back and acknowledge our mistake and become more aware of our former displays and the things we must come to terms, our feelings, our moods, and most importantly, our reactions or overreactions will become far easier to regulate. We've all been through things in life and we will all continue to go through things in life. But we can always bet our ass someone's had it worse and is doing worse than we. We can go through life blaming and complaining, or we can go through life learning and evolving. When we cannot regulate our own thoughts, this will then lead us into that spiral of procrastination. When we cannot put ourselves to task, we are letting our emotions rule the day. For enhanced productivity, we must ensure enhanced self-awareness. When we think too much, when every tab is open on our mind's computer, everything gets muddled and lost, we become at war with assumptions and mind-numbing summations running havoc in our head. This is when we must slow down our thoughts, close our eyes, take mindful breaths, breathe in peace, breathe out love, calm our mind of chaos. When we become fast irked or pissed off by another person, we must ask ourselves, is this person really unlikable? If so, we must practice avoidance where we can. If unavoidable, we must try to minimize interactions where we can, bearing in mind that everything they say and everything they do is a reflection of whom they are and not whom we are. But just what if something we seemingly dislike in another is in actuality a reflection of something we dislike in ourselves, something we unconsciously practiced avoidance in facing and addressing. We've all times in our past we've been unfavorable. We've all memories of things we are not proud of, unless we are fucking perfect and devoid of all error. And this would then make us a truth-twisting fantasist of this, I'm sure, because I've yet to meet a perfect, untarnished human. Maybe I've just been living under a fucking rock, but nope. I've never met one. We've all most likely made blunders, overreacted, been untrue, been foolish, been weak, too bold, or just plain bloody stupid. We've all been chewed up and spat out, made poor judgments, been used, been downtrodden, or gotten too big for our boots. Give me a form if you agree. But we all have the ability to amend and change our ways. We should be less judgmental of others and more ready to look deep within ourselves. We all have idiosyncratic ways. We all most likely irritate somebody, whether momentarily or as a whole. We cannot change that if we are causing self-projective visuals within them. But we can become more willing to face the fact that sometimes we irritate others because we are in fact being irritating in general. When behavioral patterns are tapping on our self-conscience, we cannot keep sweeping our misdeeds under the rug hoping they'll go away. It's one thing for people to be expected to accept us for everything and all that we are, but frankly, I don't think being an arsehole falls under the requirements of others' tolerations. Comes a time when we have to become self-aware enough to recognize when our characteristics or behavioral patterns become damaging to ourselves or others. We must acknowledge these detriments to us and address them to progress and prosper in life. When we try to avoid the emotions that make us intolerable to others, which can then lead to shame and embarrassment on our own part. This can lead to some pretty dire consequences if we don't soul search and get to the very essence of where these behaviors stem from. The more we practice avoidance of that little voice in our mind telling us we will regret something if we say it or do it, the deeper and darker that spiral of inner remorse will be for shunning our consciousness that tried so hard to get us to listen. Some of us struggle with cognitive distortions. We see ourselves and the things we do and others do inaccurately. So therefore have to be proactive in practice of accurate thinking. We sometimes need to step back and look at everything from an unbiased perspective. Become aware when the majority react to us favorably or unfavorably. Do we go to bed each night with a clear conscience or feelings of shame or regret? Only we can dig within the deepest realms of our own selves to find the answers we need to be self-aware enough to know if we are in fact who needs to change or those we surround ourselves with needs to change. If you enjoyed my straight shooting take in this self-awareness video, please like, comment, and subscribe. You'll be helping this channel so much. So grateful for those of you who have. I'll list my playlist below. We can go through life shunning our idiosyncrasies, our flaws, feigning we just don't bloody care. Or we can confront our truths, our fuck-ups, be real with brave, flourishing in our best selves, completely self-aware.
Kinda toxic, babe. Break out of your shell, meet me halfway.